So the only way I managed to cure my corn addiction, after relying on sheer willpower and trying and failing over and over again, was like this, okay? And I usually don't make videos like this, but this is an important one. The way I did it was I stopped seeing pleasure in the thing. Now hear me out. That sounds like too simple, probably, right? You'll probably hear that, you're like, what the fuck do you mean stop seeing pleasure in it? Of course there's pleasure in it. But let me explain something to you. The reason you're addicted to that process of, PMO is because you see pleasure in it. Simple as. Because when you see pleasure in an addiction, you will continue to feed yourself with that addiction because it makes you feel good and you believe that it makes you feel good. The paradigm shift for me came when I really realized that if I would somehow hack my brain to see the whole corn thing, the PMO thing, as completely displeasurable, or at least something that doesn't benefit me and doesn't even make me feel good compared to what I could be doing, then surely, the temptation would be diminished. And I was right, because that's when I basically freed myself from the addiction, is when I started to see it as something that literally was a waste of time. And I don't mean that in the sense of like, when people say, oh yeah, don't do it because it's bad for you, so it's a waste of time, that sort of thing. Like, no, I mean like, it literally is not pleasurable. So if I were to consider and contemplate the idea of me actually PMOing, right? My brain at this point automatically just thinks, what's the point? There's literally no pleasure in it. Whereas your brain's probably thinking, let's do it because this is going to be fun, it's going to feel nice, it's going to feel great. And depending on whether you're in a rut right now, you might even think, this is the highlight of my day. And that's why you're stuck in the cycle. If PMO is the highlight of your day and it's your only source of pleasure, or one of the only sources of pleasure that you have, then of course quitting the addiction is not really tenable, is it? So this is what needs to happen, and this is what I did. I slowly shifted my focus in general to seeking pleasure through hard work and training my brain to seek out hard work and basically get my dopamine releases from hard work only. Now, people would tell you in order to do this, you need to do a hard reset on your dopamine, etc. You need to quit all the vices, blah, blah, blah. This is true, but it's not realistic for you to make that shift when your only source of pleasure is literally coming from that one thing that is bad for you. So what I did was I slowly transitioned. I stacked wins in my favor day by day, slowly, okay? I brought myself out of the rut and out of the cycle of PMO. And I started to seek these wins through hard tasks, but the hard task did not start as the hard task that I'm doing now. So for instance, I started off by trying to go to bed on time. If I could get to bed on time, even if I PMO'd, guess what? I won for that day. I did the thing that I knew I needed to do, right? The thing that I set out to do that day, which is get to bed on time so I could start this trend of wins, these small wins, then I win the day, right? So I get to bed on time one day, second day comes around, I get to bed on time again, I win a second day. And then I started to build confidence in myself because I'm sticking to my word, I'm honoring my word, I'm sticking to it, and I'm proving to myself that I can follow through with what I say I'm going to do. And by doing this process and repeating this process, and by gaining confidence in myself again, slowly, I start to add on more challenges. So what once began as just go to bed on time, well, now it changes to go to bed on time, wake up early at like 5, 6 a.m, and then go to the gym at 7 a.m. or whatever, right? That's how it started for me, okay? But I didn't just jump from PMO, not going to bed on time, going to bed like 3 a.m. in the morning, waking up at like 2 p.m, and then going to the gym. Like, no, I just built the wins slowly. So I start off, like I say, going to bed on time, but then I get to the point where I'm waking up at 5, 6 a.m, going to the gym pretty much first thing in the morning, getting a hard session out of the way. Then I'm adding on all these other good habits like reading, like cold calls, scripting videos, all these hard tasks or like these tedious tasks that I don't really want to do because they take a lot of brain power and discipline to get them done. And I'm seeking the pleasure from those activities. And slowly, the shift happens, which is I'm now at the point where I see so much more pleasure in all of these tasks getting done and aiming and shooting for my goals and working hard every day to chase my goals. I see more pleasure in those things than actually PMOing, than succumbing to an addiction. So if you can slowly but surely bring yourself to a point where you value hard work, the pleasure that you get from hard work, as opposed to getting easy, simple, quick gratification from your disgusting, lustful habit of PMOing, if you can get yourself to that point, naturally, you won't ever need to watch corn ever again. And this concept is what has enabled me to go from looking how I used to look to how I look now, and has kept me turning up to the gym every single day, because I genuinely see the value and pleasure in the hard work that I'm putting in when I'm consistent and I turn up every single day and do the thing that I don't really want to do, but I know that I have to do. So instead of trying to brute force your way out of this addiction, start to train your brain to value the hard work. And the fruits of your labor that you receive from the hard work will far outweigh any considered or believed benefit that you get from PMO. Simple.